What's going on, guys? Welcome to the episode of the Ward Central Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. And today's episode, I'm going to be taking a peek at the 31st annual Critics' Choice nominees that were announced this morning. I really can't wait to dive into this group of individuals that were nominated. There were some inspired choices by my fellow critics I'm very excited about. Some surprises, some snubs, in my opinion. But I'm going to talk about my predictions and then, of course, what went down. Let's go ahead and throw that up on the big board for you guys. I just made a new one for this. Where is it at? There we go. All right. So starting off in Best Picture, this one's definitely Buganya. My buddy and my fellow Award Central podcast co-host Benji actually had Buganya and his 10, which I did not. But Buganya, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good. This is definitely such an interesting balance of films, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I only had 9 for some reason in my picks, but yeah. So obviously the big one missing here is Avatar. That was a write-in film since it was presented so late in the game to critics, but nonetheless, I feel like this is a pretty good bunch. This could be, I think, 8 or 9 of these, maybe 8 of these could be in the hunt for Best Picture as well. Moving on to Best Actor. Best Actor, I kind of went on a limb a little bit. The two that I got wrong here were George Clooney and Dwayne Johnson. Obviously, Timothy Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, Joel Edgerton, Ethan Hawke, Michael B. Jordan, and Wagner Moura were the nominees. I went on a limb with Dwayne Johnson. I thought maybe that he'd get a little bit of love here. Kind of shocked that he didn't, but I'm also not really shocked that Blue Moon got a little bit of love here. Ethan Hawke's performance is really good in that film, and I had started to hear some chatter about that. And I wasn't sure about Wagner. I went Wagner, and I went George Clooney, and I ended up being kind of wrong here, which is fine. For Best Actress, I was 5 of 6 here. Emma Stone for Bregaglia is really kind of surprising here, but Amanda Seyfried, my favorite performance of the entire year. For The Testament to Anne Lee, Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value, Chase Infinity getting in, such a strong pick. Very, very happy about that. Rose Byrne and Jessie Buckley are 6. Went 5 out of 6. The one that I got wrong is I had Cynthia in instead of Emma Stone. She shockingly missing the bunch here. For supporting actor, I went 5 out of 6 here too. I actually missed one here because I had Delroy Linda in here and he did not make the cut. But that being said, Benicio del Toro, Jacob Elordi, Paul Mescal, Sean Penn, Adam Sandler, Stellan Skarsgård. This is a really solid 6. I really like this 6. Big fan of the 6. Also, on the flip side of it, for supporting actress, went perfect 6 or 6 here. Double love for Sentimental Value with Elle Fanning, Inga. And then, of course, the One Battle After Another, Tiana Taylor, Wunama for Sinners, Amy Magdian for Weapons, and then, of course, Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. The film does pop up there. For Best Young Actor, Actress, Everett Blunk for The Plague, Miles Canton for Sinners. Very happy about that one. Carrie Christopher for Weapons. I actually really like that one, too. I didn't even think about that when I was turning my ballot, and I had Nina Ye and Miles Canton on my ballot. Jacoby Jupe for Hamnet, not surprised there, and Shannon from Rental Family. Best Director, I went with the different foreign film in the 6, making me go 5 out of 6 here. I thought for sure that it was going to be Park Chan-wook, and instead it was Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, getting in there with Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Guillermo del Toro, Josh Safdie, and Chloe Zhao. Not really surprising 6 here. I really feel like 5 of those 6 is probably going to get that nomination for the Oscars. Who gets left out will be interesting. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm going to be intrigued to figure it out whenever it does go on. Best Original Screenplay, some big nominees here. Obviously, Noah Baumbach for Jay Kelly, along with Emily Mortimer. We got Marty Supreme, Sinners, Weapons, Sorry Baby, Sentimental Value. Very happy for Sorry Baby here, along with nice little nomination for Zach Greger for Weapons. Best Adapted Screenplay, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. We got Train Dreams, No Other Choice, Frankenstein, Buganya, and Hamnet. Best Casting and Ensemble, Wicked for Good, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Jay Kelly, and Hamnet. Best cinematography, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Train Dreams. Adolfo Velasco's Train Dreams is just absolutely magical. This is a star-studded lineup. Claudio Miranda for F1 is definitely one that I really am intrigued by. Production design, a little bit of a surprise here for Fantastic Four. Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Wicked for Good here. Best editing, one of my favorite nominees is for Dinah Lieberman for The Perfect Neighbor. So not often do we get to see a documentary slide into such a big category like this, but it did, alongside House of Dynamite, F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Best costume design, Hedda, Kiss of a Spider-Woman, Sinners, Wicked for Good, Hamnet, and Frankenstein. Best hair and makeup, The Smashing Machines Lone nominee is here, alongside Sinners, Weapons, Wicked for Good, Frankenstein, and 28 Years Later. Visual effects, this is where Avatar did slide into the nominees, right alongside F1, Frankenstein, Mission Impossible, Sinners, and Superman. For stunt design, Ballerina getting that nomination. Kind of like that nomination. Alongside of F1, Mission Impossible, One Battle, Sinners, and Warfare. Best animated film, Arco, Elio, In Your Dreams, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Amelia's character, Rain, Zootopia 2. Best comedy, I do think that they try to leave off some of the nominees that get nominations across the board. So The Ballad of Wallace Island, Eternity, Friendship, The Naked Gun, The Phoenician Scheme, and Splitsville. For foreign language film, Sentimental Value strangely being left off here, but I'm wondering if it was for the simple fact that people have put across the board at the top, but it was just an accident. Left-Handed Girl, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, Sarat, and Belen. All right, for best song, F1, Drive, the Ed Sheeran song. Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters. I Lied to You from Sinners. Clothed by the Sun for Testament of Van Lee. Train Dreams from Train Dreams, The Girl in the Bubble for Wicked for Good. And then, of course, for best score, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. And, of course, best sound. Best sound, we got F1, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Sarat, and Warfare. That is your nominees for the 31st Annual Critics' Choice Awards. I will be breaking down these nominees with my fellow podcast partner for the Popcorn People podcast, Dom Fisher. We typically podcast that will drop probably on Monday or Tuesday to you guys. We are both voting members of the Critics' Choice, so it's kind of fun to dive into the nominees. I really like the nominees this year. I'm not as mad. There's a few nominations that I had that didn't make the ballot. One of them being I really was hoping for George Clooney for Jay Kelly. No Love for Is This Thing On, which is kind of sad, a movie that I think is masterful. I love that movie so much. I'm hoping when the Golden Globes are announced on the 8th that it gets a little bit of love from the Globes. I'm really hoping for that. But other than that, I'm really happy with some of the picks. I'm a big F1 the movie guy, so I didn't really expect it on the above the line stuff, but it's nice to see some of it get that below the line nominations. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the Critics' Choice nominees for the 31st annual show. The show is set to air on January the 4th. Is that correct? January the 4th on E. You'll be able to check out the show. So looking forward to going out there and checking out the award show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll be back soon breaking down more awards chatter.